Good morning children. I welcome you all back to the English class. Last week we had completed with lesson 1, which was lesson 1 about health. That is, health is happiness. And I also gave you all the notes. Hope you all have completed the notes and followed the instructions. Okay, now we will begin with the next lesson. Next, you don't have a lesson, you have a poem. And the poem is One Morning. The poem is One Morning. So here in this poem, I will just give you an introduction of the poem, what happens, and then I will read out and explain it in detail. One morning, a child wakes up, and here the poem is as if the child is speaking about his sickness. Okay. So he says when he woke up, his mummy saw that the child was not keeping well. The child was feeling hot. Hot means when are we feeling hot? That is when we have temperature, when we have fever. You must have noticed when you have fever, your parents will touch your body like this and they will see that if you are having temperature, and immediately they will take you to the doctor. But here in the poem, mother calls the doctor home. And the child says that the doctor came very quick. He came very quick and he was ready to treat me because I was sick. And when the doctor comes, the child explains that the doctor, as soon as he came, he washed his hands. Why does the doctor wash his hands? The doctor washes his hands because he has come from out. So, they say that there will be tiny germs present in our hands. You would have noticed in the advertisements and all, in the Dettol advertisements and all, that there will be tiny germs in our hands. So that is why whenever we have to take some eatables or drink some water, we are told by our parents to wash our hands first and then to take something to eat or to drink. Here also, the doctor, as he comes, the child is saying in the poem, as the doctor comes, he washes his hands because he doesn't want his patient to get infected. Okay, so he washes his hands. Then after washing his hand, the doctor removes his coat, he says. The doctor takes off his coat. You must have noticed, the doctor, he wears a coat. What color coat does the doctor wear? It is the white color. It is his uniform. Now for example, you too wear uniform when you come to school, isn't it? When you are going to school, even you wear uniform. Even your parents sometimes. If your father is a driver or if your father is working in some other company, they will give uniforms. You must have seen even your teachers are also having uniform in the school, isn't it? The same way, the doctor also was wearing his uniform and he takes off his coat. First, as he comes, he washes his hands, then he takes off his coat. Then now he is ready to treat the child. Now the doctor also touches the hands of the child. And you must have noticed when you also go to doctor, the doctor, he holds your hand and he checks the pulse of yours, isn't it? And by that, he will get to know if you are sick and what kind of sickness you have. And not only that, the doctor looks down the eyes of the patient. He will get to know if the patient is weak, very weak. So that is why he checks the eyes. Not only that, the doctor also checked the throat part, the throat part, if there is any infection. And this is how the child tells that the doctor treated the child. In the first 4 lines, this is what is given in the poem. The way the doctor treated the child. And who called the doctor? The child's mother. In the poem, it is given as mummy. Whom do you call as mummy? Your mother. So, here in the first 4 lines, the child tells that one morning when the child got up, the child was very sick and mummy calls the doctor immediately. And the doctor also comes quick. Quick means very fast. And when he comes, as he comes, what does the doctor do? The doctor washes his hands. Why does he wash? He doesn't want the child to be infected. So he washes his hands. Then he takes off his coat. Then after taking off his coat, the doctor holds the child's hands and tests the child and also looks into the child's eyes, then checks the throat if there is any sort of infection, and he begins to treat the child in this way. So here you can see on the board, I have written the first 4 lines of the poem. Okay children, I have written the first 4 lines. The poem has 8 lines. Okay, but I have written only 4 lines. Next I will be writing the next 4 lines. Okay, so I will read the poem once. You too be ready with your textbook and read the poem along with me as I say. Okay, here I begin. Poem 1. One morning. I woke up one morning feeling hot and sick. So when do you feel hot? When you have fever. Okay. Mummy called the doctor. He came very quick. Who called the doctor? Mummy, the child's mother. Okay. Calls the doctor. He came very quick. How did the doctor come? Very fast to treat the child. He washed his hands, took off his coat. So as soon as the doctor came, what did the doctor do? The doctor washed his hands and he took off his coat. Then he looked at my eyes and down my throat. So then next what did the doctor do? He looked at the child's eyes and he looked at the child's throat. Okay, so this is what is there in the first 4 lines of the poem. So I will read the poem again. Please follow and repeat after me. Okay. Poem 1. One morning. I woke up one morning feeling hot and sick. Mummy called the doctor. He came very quick. He washed his hands, took off his coat. He looked at my eyes and down my throat. Yes, children. So next, I have written the next 4 lines of the poem. The first 4 lines we finished. I have written the next 4 lines. So the doctor, after checking the eyes and the throat of the child, here is the next line. He touched my hand and said, "Dear, dear." Who touched the hand? The doctor. Whose hand? The child's hand. Okay? He touched my hand and said, "Dear, dear, I won't hurt you, so do not fear." So the doctor felt that the child is afraid of the doctor. Even you people also. You must have seen in the hospitals when you go, some children are so scared of the doctor. They don't want to go to the doctor. Why? Because they are scared of the injections, isn't it? They make a lot of noise. They say, "No, I will not take injections. I don't want." Isn't it? So here even maybe the child also was scared. And the doctor saw that the child is afraid and he tells the child, "I won't hurt you." So the doctor tells the child, "I will not hurt you. So don't be afraid of me. And do not fear." Fear means to be afraid of something. Okay, so he says, you don't have to be afraid of me. I will not hurt you, the doctor says. Then, "Here, take these pills." So the doctor is giving pills. Pills means tablets. When we go to the doctor when we are sick, the doctor, he gives us some medicines in the form of tablets, in the form of syrup, in the form of injections, isn't it? So here the doctor is giving the child some pills. Pills means tablets. Okay. He smiled and said, who smiled? The doctor. Okay. He smiled and said, "In a few days you will be out of bed." So he tells the child, if you take these pills, these tablets regularly, for a few days, you will recover and you will be out of bed. You will get well soon, the doctor says. Okay, so even you, when you are sick, when your parents take you to the doctor, your parents, without forgetting, they give you the tablets, that is maybe sometimes before lunch or after lunch, isn't it? And will have to take medicines 3 days a time or sometimes 2 days a time. So you have to take it regularly if you have to get well soon. That is what the doctor here he tells in the last line. So don't worry, if you take the medicines what I am giving to you, you will soon get well. So this is about one morning poem, children. Okay. So the poem is about the child is sick, and when the mother notices that the child is sick, she immediately calls the doctor. And in the next lines, the explanation is given how the doctor treats the child. Okay, so immediately when he comes, what does the doctor do first? He washes his hands. Then he takes off his coat. Then he starts treating the child by holding the child's hand, then looking at the eyes, then the throat. Okay, then the doctor notices that the child is afraid of the doctor. And the doctor tells, don't get scared, I will not hurt you. And he gives some medicines to the child and tells the child, take these medicines regularly. If you take it regularly, you will get well soon. Okay children, hope all have understood the poem. I will read the lines which is there on the board now. You too follow and read it from your textbook. Okay children? Yes. The next lines. He touched my hand and said, dear, dear, I won't hurt you, so do not fear. Here, take these pills. He smiled and said, in a few days, you will be out of bed. I'll repeat it again, children. Please follow. He touched my hand and said, dear, dear, I won't hurt you, so do not fear. Here, take these pills. He smiled and said, in a few days, you will be out of bed. Okay, hope all have understood the poem. I'll come back with the rhyming words now. Yes, children. So now you can see I have written on the board as rhyming words. I will tell you what are rhyming words. Rhyming words are the words that end with the same sound. Okay, that is in the end of the word, the sound of that word will be the same. I have given on few examples on the board. You can see I have written the word man, and I have written 3 rhyming words for each. Okay, so here you can see I have written M-A-N man, then C-A-N can, F-A-N fan, P-A-N pan. You can see the end of the words are all ending with the same sound, and. Okay, so the sound, the words that end with the same sound are called as rhyming words. Why I am telling you about rhyming words is because now the poem which I explained one morning, even in this poem you have some rhyming words. Okay, and usually the rhyming words you will find in the end of the lines in the poem. Okay, in the end of the lines in the poem. Okay, so what are rhyming words? Rhyming words are words that end with the same sound. For example, man, can, fan, pan. Next I have written hot. I have written the word hot, and I have written 3 rhyming words. The words are pot, caught, lot. You can see what is the last sound? Ot here, isn't it? So it is ending with the same sound. Those are called as rhyming words. And the next example is cold, bold, told, told. Okay, so you can see the sound is old for all the words. Okay, it is ending with the same sound. So those are called as rhyming words. Okay children, the words that end with the same sound. So here you can see I have written 2 more rhyming words. Okay, a bit colorful. Okay, so here you can see I have written the first word as bat. What is the first word? Bat. the next rhyming word for bat is cat. And the next is sat. You would have heard all these words, isn't it? Sat, cat, bat. Okay, it is rhyming. What is the last sound? At for all the words. Okay, and all the three words rhyme with each other. The next word is bun. And the rhyming word for bun is sun, fun. You must have seen the sun, isn't it? You know what is sun. Then fun, enjoying. Okay, so these are some more examples for rhyming words. Okay, some rhyming words which I had written on the board, and these are some more rhyming words. Now I will tell you about the rhyming words which you have in the poem One Morning. Okay, some of the rhyming words which you have in the poem One Morning. Yes, children. Now I have written the rhyming words which you have in the poem. Okay, the first word is sick, and the rhyming word for sick is quick. What is the rhyming word for sick in the poem? Quick. The next rhyming word is coat. And what is the rhyming word for coat? Throat. What is the rhyming word? Throat. And the third word is deer. And the rhyming word for deer is fear. Okay. And the fourth word is set. And the rhyming word for set is bed. So these are the rhyming words which you have in poem One Morning. So what are rhyming words? Rhyming words are words that end with the same sound. So again here you can notice sick, quick. So what is the last sound? Ick, I-C-K. Okay. Then coat, throat. The sound is O. Okay. The sound is O. Then deer, fear. The sound is ear. Then set, bed. Egg, bed. Okay, the sounds will be the same, are called as rhyming words that end with the same sound. Okay, children, hope all have understood the poem One Morning and what are rhyming words also. Okay, thank you children. Meet you all in the next class.